Andrea.
And I'm Krista.
And we're Soulfull and Soil. Today we're going to show you how to do winter sowing. So this is where you plant your seeds and set your containers right outside to start the germination process. This is a really great process for anybody that doesn't have a lot of space in your home to set up shelving and lights, or doesn't have a lot of light in your home or space that you want to start your seedlings. So this is a great option to put your seedlings outside right from seed to start the germination process. We are in zone 6, AB, according to the USDA.
Yeah.
And so it's March here right now, and it's a great time to start your seeds, especially your cold hardy seeds, such as Brussels sprouts, cabbage, kale, leeks, lettuce. I didn't bring all those today.
No,
but,
we have broccoli, cabbage, leeks, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, and kale.
Yes. So
That we're going to do today.
another great thing about winter sowing is your supplies are actually things that you can find around your home, and it's a great way if you're really into repurposing and recycling. So you'll see sort of here in front of me, and you'll see them more as we give instructions, that I've just repurposed a bunch of containers that we have at home. So water jugs are great. This was an orange juice jug. Vinegar jug, making sure that you rinse them out really well, of course.
And then we have
A grape
grapes,
clamshell. This was a container from rotisserie chicken, so just something you wash out really well. Milk jugs are a really popular option that Krista was showing a minute ago. Unfortunately, we're in Ontario, and all of them are really white, which you can see. There's no translucency to this, so we're going to do a little experiment and try this here at home to see if it works, but ideally, you want to find things that the light can get into, because your sun is going to be, it's effectively going to be a mini greenhouse.
Yeah.
So you want something that's translucent that the sunshine can get in there, because your plants need the sun so that they can grow.
okay.
Okay, so the supplies that you're going to need for the winter sowing are, of course, your containers. If you have a local Facebook page or community group, if you don't have a lot of containers yourself, I actually put it out on some of the pages from our local communities, and if people are using these things, they seem really willing to help and to just give you their containers instead of throwing them in the recycling. So that's a really great option if you want to get a whole bunch. The other supplies you're going to need is you're going to need seeds. Soil. So we're doing this in the house, which can get messy. So we've got a Rubbermaid container with the soil in it, and I've already dampened the soil. If you want to do a larger amount, obviously you can do a big bucket or a wheelbarrow outside. You're going to need popsicle sticks for labeling. We're going to label outside and inside the jar, so you'll also need your markers. So a Sharpie, or some people use waterproof acrylic paint. I like to keep it basic.
Yeah.
You're going to need your cutting devices so that you can cut your container. So we've got our X-Acto knife and scissors. We've got our duct tape. You definitely need duct tape or some waterproof tape. Duct tape would be, I'd say, my number one option. And you need something to drill holes, because you need drainage. So cordless drill is a really good one. Another one I saw was heating up a screwdriver, and you can push the holes that way too. So it's just something to pierce them so that they have some good drainage holes.
Okay, so we're going to start cutting them first off. So we're going to leave some space at the bottom, because you're going to fill it with soil, and then you want some space as well. So we're going to start about here. I just have my X-Acto knife, and I'm just going to cut it around, and I'm going to go almost 75%, because you want to be able to bend it back. So as you can see, it has a little hinge from there, and that's where we're going to bend it back. So I'm going to hand this over to Andrea. She's going to keep going. If you have these ones, they're already kind of preset. Just make sure there's holes in the bottom. So we'll have to put some holes in the bottom of this one, and I should put holes in the bottom of that too before we get going.
We will do it on this one, but actually going back, I think it probably is easier before you cut it.
Okay.
Because then it's not like wiggling around on you. So for safety purposes, if you're a little clumsy like me, you probably want to do it that way.
I don't even know, will the drill work?
Yeah, I did it yesterday.
Because you're right, it's hard to push against it. I'd rather really just see if I can get this to go in.
Sure. Do as we instruct, not as we show. I'll show you on this one.
Yeah.
Without going through, this is going to be so.
Because that'll be a lot easier.
I don't want to go
straight
through
down.
a cabinet. Yes.
It doesn't want to go in, does it?
I just did it yesterday, so it definitely does.
You just need drainage, so this would actually even work.
Yeah. Okay. I just did it yesterday and it did work. I wonder if do I have it going, is it going the right way? I might have it going.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Have the drill going the right way.
So I don't know what we're going to, how much we're going to cut
Okay.
that and not cut it.
So I put like 5 drainage holes in there. I'm not sure if you can see that really well, but just to allow some moisture to get out of there.
Yeah, and this one I've just poked a whole bunch of holes with the X-Acto knife and it'll be fine. It'll still drain. Okay, so we're going to keep on going on the drilling and the cutting. And Andrew's going to start planting.
So the first seeds that we're gonna do is Brussels sprouts. So what you wanna do is, you just wanna fill the bottom part with soil. I'm probably gonna do it and leave about 1 inch on top here. So the soil, like I mentioned before, is really good and wet. So we'll fill it up just like so. And then we're gonna plant our seeds. The general rule for a size like this, so this is the 4-liter water jug, is you can do about 8 to 12 small seeds in a size like this. For larger seeds, say you were gonna start, say like a zucchini or a pumpkin, you probably would not want to go more than 4 or 5 seeds because they'll be a bit of a larger plant. So these Brussels sprout seeds are teeny tiny. So I'm just gonna space them out as best as I can here. I think I got 10 in there. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of soil over top. Pat that down. And it's as easy as that. So now what you wanna do is, you wanna use whatever you're gonna choose as a label. Popsicle sticks are easy and plentiful and very cheap. I'm gonna put this inside. So you just wanna label it. So I label it with the name, and then on the back, I'm gonna actually put the date, just so I can kind of keep track of how they do, how long they take to germinate, just so I can kind of keep track of how they do this way. So I'm just gonna stick that in the side like that. And then we're gonna close her up. So the next part that we're going to do is we're going to seal this cut spot with our duct tape. So I'm just gonna cut a piece here. Just gonna kind of eyeball it.
And this is so then you can get them out again.
Yes.
You want to seal it up so it becomes a greenhouse so that there's no air going out, but then you want to be able to open it back up when it comes time to be able to get your plants out.
Yeah.
There we go.
So the duct tape works great for that purpose. Mm-hmm. And so then I'm also going to just put a quick note on the outside as well. My worry about doing just an outside is that it will either wash out from the moisture or it will fade out from the sun. So that's why I also put one on the inside. because the last thing you want is to have 25 of these sitting out in your garden sprouting, and if you're not super familiar with what seedlings look like, you can't figure out what they are because all the labels are gone. So we'll just go like that.
And so you want this hole open so that the water will go in and that it also has some air for breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the condensation, you'll start to see build up on the inside of the container.
Exactly. And because we already wet the soil and we're going to put these outside, you can see already that there's a bit of water droplets. Hopefully you can see that okay. So that is a great indicator that there's moisture in here, which is what you want to see throughout the entire growing process while these are going. So we'll just continue on and we'll plant a few more. So we finished filling all of our jugs, and now what we're going to do is we leave the lids off. We're going to take them outside to the garden. The best tip is to put these in a spot in your garden where, right around where you're going to plant them, because that gets your seedlings right from day one acclimated to where they're going to be planted, so they get the same sunlight, the same kind of weather and exposure as they're going to get once you plant them in the ground and they start growing so they can bear fruit. A couple of tips. You probably won't have to water them depending on what the weather is. The holes being open will allow snow and rain to get in to continue to keep the earth moist. What I would suggest that you do is you would look maybe once or twice a week, and just look for evidence of moisture droplets within the bottles. As long as you see that there is moisture droplets, they are okay. However, if they appear to be like bone dry, you don't want them to get to that point. You want to drizzle a little bit of water in the holes, being careful not to put just your hose in and just blasting it, because it will displace the seeds and that will not work. So you just want to drizzle, or even if you have a hose with a sprinkler nozzle on, that would be a great way to do it as well. The other tip, because we are in Ontario and we are not safe from frost and freezing yet, is once the seedlings start to emerge from the earth, you want to keep an eye on your weather. If it's going to freeze, you will want to take a blanket or sheet outside and cover the containers, because if it freezes or frosts, it will kill your seedlings. So we don't want that, definitely. So that's just a great way to protect them on days that we might have the odd day that's still cold. So once they start emerging in the next week or two, then you want to keep an eye for that as well. So here we are in the garden. We've set all our containers out. It's basically set it and forget it from here, other than keeping an eye on the moisture and keeping an eye on the weather for any frost or freezing days. Thank you so much for joining us today to learn a little bit more about winter sowing.
Push that subscribe button so that you can get more information about how to grow your own food from soil to table and how to nourish your life. See you on the next one.